Hey, it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your Astro and Tarot energy forecast for each one of the Zodiacs, December 2021. If you haven't listened to December's energy forecast already, I would recommend you go do so. It definitely gives you a highlight on what we can expect for the month of December. It gives you a little bit of a preview of all the different astrological events that we can expect to trigger and activate us as the month unfolds. And it will give you a little bit more information to work with as you move through your own individual zodiac forecast. So keep in mind, it's great if you have the time to listen to all the different signs, as we do have all the signs interacting, activating in our own personal charts. However, if you're limited on time, you definitely want to check out your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign. All of these informations, all of these forecasts kind of intertwine with one another and give you the best overview on what you can expect for the month ahead. Hey Gemini, right out of the gate, we have Neptune going direct. This is going to be affecting your 10th house. So what this means is that all of the discontentment, all of the confusion, all of the blah feelings that you've been feeling towards your career for the past 5 months, suddenly things are going to shift. I feel like the creativity is coming back, the imagination is coming back. I feel like the spark and the passion is coming back. And I don't want you to derail yourself by the lackluster in which you've been feeling for the past 5 months. The confusion, the chaos, the discombobulation was 100% necessary in order for you to figure out what it is that you actually love to do, what it is that your new meaning, your new purpose wants you to pursue. And I feel many of my Gemini friends, although the urge, the want, the need, the desire to branch out and start something new is definitely at full force, I think that recalibrating and kind of looking at what it is that you have been doing with your time, your energy, your skill set is going to be kind of revamped in a brand new way. Neptune going direct is really going to inspire you in brand new ways, bringing a brand new life force to your career and kind of spicing things up where things got a little bit blah. Now, this is a big month for you because we are wrapping up the Sagittarian and Gemini axis life lessons that you've been going through for the last 18 months. On the 4th, we have the new moon solar eclipse in Sag. And this is going to be highlighting your 7th house, the ups and downs, the inner turmoil, the power struggles that you've been having because of the personal relationships that you've been having a hard time kind of establishing, meaning many of my Gemini friends are still holding on to old relationships, old ways of interacting. We have this new value system, this new worth that is really emerging within us, but we still have to cut the cord to the old people that aren't willing to change and move and learn and grow with us. This new moon, although it is initiating a brand new spark, a brand new cycle, the solar eclipse is rewarding us, blessing us for our pain and struggle. We are also closing out the last 18 months that have been very tough, especially for my Gemini friends, because there's been a lot of rearranging with the people that we actually share our lives with. Now, on the 13th, Mars will be moving into Sag as well in this 7th house. So you're definitely going to be a little bit more aggressive with standing up for yourself, implementing those boundaries, a little bit more aggressive, pursuing the new passions, the new desires that you have. This is really going to set you up for a beautiful energy to be a little bit more, let's call it feisty in your personal relationships, and seeking out the kind of romantic partners that are actually going to encourage you with your growth, with your healing process. Mars definitely is going to give us a boost in physical energy, physical drive as well, but be very motivated to break away from these old confines, these old relationships, these old dynamics in order to really set ourselves up for the brand new possibilities of the future. Now, also on the 13th, we have Mercury, your ruler, moving out of Sagittarius and moving into Capricorn. I'm not going to lie, this likely will not be a pleasant thing for you because you're going through a death with your inner narrative. Mercury in Sag was giving you all of these ideas, kind of sparking new excitement, had you all kind of scatterbrained, bringing in new information, processing new truths. But now Mercury moving into Capricorn, we got to get down to the nitty gritty. We have to put our thinking caps on, be logical, practical, strategic on what it is that we are 100% done with, that we have to move away from, we have to cut the cord with, in order to clean the slate for a brand new narrative to actually begin. My Gemini friends are so brilliant, but y'all are just so super hard on yourselves as well. This negative narrative that you've been in for the past 18 months, that is about to die in big ways. And Mercury moving into Capricorn has exactly what it takes to get us back down to the basics, to focus on the details of what it is we've actually been telling ourselves, and give us the power to actually cut the cord with the old negative narratives for good. Now, on the 18th, on the 19th, depending on where it is that you're at in the world, we have the full moon taking place in Gemini, in your sign. This is going to be illuminating your first house. Let me tell you, you are halfway through your natal year. We have to rewind, first of all, 18 months ago, because that is when the real tough love life lessons began for you. This is when we're going to wrap them up and lock the door and nail this sucker shut on those life lessons. But we also have to rewind to your birthday. Whatever it is that you failed to bring to life, you got to let go of that. Whatever you failed to really celebrate within yourself, you got to let go of that. This full moon is about release. It's about endings. And the biggest release and ending that you have to make right now is the way that you see yourself, the way you talk to yourself, the way that you treat yourself. This is going to be a huge shift in energies because you're about to walk out of what has been a very focused timeline for the last 18 months on stripping you down, pulling you apart in order for you to rebuild yourself in a much better, much stronger, much more authentic way. Also on the 19th, we have Venus going into retrograde in Capricorn. This is going to be illuminating your 8th house. A little bit of a spoiler alert. Your 8th house is death, rebirth, renewal, regeneration, transformation. And it is a huge spotlight for you as we move throughout the month of December. Venus is going to slow you down, really have you very much reflective on what it is that you value within yourself, within your personal relationships. Venus really does need to get down to the nitty gritty and figure out who needs to stay and who needs to go. She needs to figure out where it is that her happiness lies, her joy lies, her pleasure lies, and to create new foundations long term in order to have more of that energy actually be incorporated in her life. Venus being retrograde is going to kind of create a lot of old memories, old relationships, old energetic cords to reemerge, to resurface in order for you to see how much growth you've actually done and where it is that you need to disconnect from some particular relationships for good. We also have Chiron going direct. This is going to really give you an opportunity to take what it is that you've done within yourself, in your inner healing, and actually bring it to the forefront of your physical realm. We've all gone through an ego and identity death. We've all kind of realized where it is that we have been shorting ourselves, blocking ourselves. Chiron is going to unleash our inner spiritual warrior. And when that does happen, you are going to be able to slice through the energetic cords that are holding you back and keeping you in a state of paralysis very easily, freeing you, liberating you to actually step into this new ego identity that you've been creating for yourself over the past couple of months. On the 21st, we have the solstice activating the reset for us. Now we get to quiet our minds. We get to be reflective. The sun moves into Capricorn and we get focused on what we need to get rid of to create space for the brand new elements that we want to create, we want to manifest. This is taking place in your 8th house. There's a huge death of destruction going on within you. Your mind frame, your heart space, your actions, your behavior, your physical realm. Things need to be cleared away that are taking up too much space. Because the blessings, the prayers that you've been praying for, they're coming. But right now they don't have any room to be built on the foundation in which you're currently supporting because you filled your foundation up with gunk. The sun in Capricorn is going to provide us with some very serious manifesting energies. We are focused on rebuilding routines, foundations, relationships that will be around for the long term, that will give us the rewards that we absolutely deserve because of the hardships in which we've already gone through. On the 28th, we have Jupiter, the planet of growth and expansion, moving into Pisces. This is also going to be illuminating your 10th house. Jupiter wants us to grow. He wants us to expand our minds. He wants us to be positive and optimistic about the possibilities of the future. And now that he's in Pisces, this is where our imagination kicks in. This is where our spirituality kicks in, where we listen to our higher selves more than we listen to our egoic mind. Because Jupiter in Pisces is very imaginative, very dreamy, very connected to the spiritual realm, this 10th house of yours is going to have a lot of creativity be funneled into it. Again, the spark is coming back in your career. You're being downloaded with new ideas and new inspirations on how it is that you can kind of bust out of where it is that you're at and take the level up, step into a brand new place of authority and really see brand new ideas come into this physical realm. A couple of messages that I would like for you to focus on as you move throughout the month. The very first thing that they're bringing to my attention, no joke, they're showing me the number 18. What's happening on the 18th? The full moon in Gemini, your halfway marker. With this message of 18, they're also showing me the moon. What's happening on the 18th? The full moon in Gemini. This is where you get to cut the cord with your old self. Again, we've all gone through an ego and identity death. We've all had huge transformations take place. And this is a time for you to step out into the world in your brand new self, brand new personality, brand new worth, brand new energy, and cut the cord from the past version of yourself that you've been struggling to accept for the past 18 months. They're showing me the number 8. And as you know, the 8th house for you is definitely on spotlight. This is death, rebirth, renewal, regeneration, transformation. And they're showing me that this is taking place in your mind. My Gemini friends are very intellectual. The mind is your greatest asset and your greatest enemy. It is time to stop fighting yourself. It is time to stop engaging in the mental narrative war, which you've gotten too comfortable with. It's time to cut the cord with the negative Nancy narrative and free yourself, thinking of the possibilities of the future. The last message that they want you to recognize is the fact that you have more possibilities and opportunities available to you now than you ever have, especially in your career, especially aligning with a new mission, a new purpose in which you can pour in your creativity and actually see it manifest here in this physical realm. This is a boss up energy, and the boss up energy comes after the full moon in Gemini when you get to release the old version of yourself and step into your brand new power. So that's all that I have for you this month, Gemini. I hope you have a beautiful month. I hope you wrap up the 2021 year beautifully and prepare yourself for a beautiful 2022. Sending you nothing but love. We'll talk to you soon. Hey, Cancer. December starts off on a beautiful note with Neptune moving direct. This is highlighting your 9th house. So there is a full completion of having to deal with some very tough truths, some very tough realities that you've had to face over the last 5 months. This is really realigning you with your higher self, relying on your intuition, seeing the spiritual wisdom and plucking out the silver linings of the pain and struggles in which you've gone through to make sense on why it is that you had to be prepared for this very moment as you start manifesting some of the elements from your future vision and from your future dreams. We have the new moon solar eclipse taking place in Sag on December 4th, and this will be highlighting your 6th house. You need to rewind the last 18 months and see where the pain, the struggle, the tough love life lessons have been illuminating for you, where it is that you have to take control over your daily life. The tasks and chores in which you involve yourself with need to be refined, restructured, and reorganized. The way that you're showing up for other people and not showing up for yourself has to be reanalyzed. The new moon is initiating a brand new cycle moving forward, but this is a solar eclipse, which means that we're being gifted, rewarded, blessed with some of the things that we've been praying for that we had to make room for with the lunar eclipse that we just had just last month. Your daily life likely has been shook up because you have to get back to taking care of yourself. That mind, body, and soul equation is so out of whack because you continuously put yourself in a situation, giving the best part of your energy to others and not reserving enough energy for yourself. This is time for you to see the bigger, broader picture of all that's at play, the tough love life lessons that you've had to go through over the last 18 months in order to see your own worth and your own value. On the 13th, we also have Mars moving into Sagittarius in this 6th house. This is really going to give you a lot of physical energy, physical drive that we've been lacking in order to get your day-to-day life together. The way that you spend your mornings, the narrative in which you adopt, the small habits in which you kind of repeat on a daily, that is going to either make you or break you. Mars moving into Sag really does want us to kind of get excited about life again, get passionate about the new inspirations and ideas that we have. But for you, it starts with creating a very safe, secure, and stable foundation in your day-to-day life that you can rely upon no matter what mood that you're actually in. Also on the 13th, we have Mercury moving into Capricorn. This is going to be highlighting your 7th house. Mercury rules over the mental plane, how we bring in information, how we process that, how we express ourselves. And while Mercury was in Sag, we were all over the place. We were scatterbrained. We had too big ideas, too much running through our brains, too much coming out of our mouths without going through a filter first. Now Mercury moving into Capricorn, we got to get down to the nitty gritty. We have to focus on the details. Logic and practicality are going to reign supreme. We have to become very strategic in how it is that we share ourselves with other people. The 7th house is about relationships. It's how you're showing up for other people. And what sits across from that 7th house is the 1st house of where it is that you need to be showing up for yourself. On the 18th, the 19th, depending on where it is that you're at in the world, we have the full moon taking place in Gemini. The full moon, the moon being your ruler, is definitely going to make your feels be a little bit extra. The full moon in Gemini is the last full moon before the full moon in Cancer, which means that you're almost at your halfway mark of your natal year. It has been an uphill battle from your birthday up until now, and you have a little bit more progress to make. But the full moon in Gemini is going to have you focused on the past. Why? Because you have to be reflective enough to understand why it is that you had to go through what it is you've gone through in order to be prepared for this very moment. The full moon in Gemini is highlighting our mental planes, where it is that we've been at odds, our heart versus our head, where it is that we've had two very extreme ways of thinking. And this 12th house is all about your spirit, all about your karma, all about your intuition, recognizing where it is that you've gotten too far away from your spiritual practice and too closely attached to this egoic realm. A balance is needed. A releasing point is needed. And a lot of the memories, a lot of the old attachments need to come up, need to resurface in order for you to let go and release them for good. Also on the 19th, we have Venus going retrograde in Capricorn. This as well is going to be in your 7th house. Venus is going to take you back over your past relationships, over your past worth, over your past self-esteem issues that you likely were repeating in pain patterns and trauma patterns in your personal relationships. Venus needs to look back, make sense of all the things that transpired in our personal relationships to figure out where it is that we actually seek joy, where we seek happiness and pleasure. Venus being retrograde might trigger some old past lovers, some old past memories from those interactions in order for you to see where the lessons failed to be learned. The 7th house is very popular for you this month, which means that there's a huge focus on how it is that you're actually sharing yourself with other people, where it is that maybe you have to cut some people off in order to pour into yourself, and maybe where it is where you have to reserve a little bit more energy for you before giving the rest of your energy away to others. We also have Chiron going direct, and we've had some very tough love life lessons in egoic and identity death over the last couple of months. This is a time where we have taken our inner healing journey, what it is that we've realized, the transformation that we've made in our heart space, in our head space, and we're actually able to unleash our spiritual warrior out in our physical realm. This is time for us to boss up in ways and actually take action in our physical lives to be the powerhouse energy that we just discovered that we've always been. We're going to get a lot of help with really backing our new aggressive ego identity selves to the world when the solstice hits and we hit that reset button. That's when the sun moves into Capricorn. This is when you reach your halfway point in your natal year. The sun moving into Capricorn is also highlighting your 7th house, which means that the way that you're sharing yourself with other people, your romantic relationships, your friendships, your business partnerships are very much a main focus for you to reset how it is that you are showing up for others, because you need to reset how it is that you're showing up for yourself. The sun in Capricorn gives us an opportunity to start rebuilding a foundation, a long-term foundation on how it is that we're going to manage our energy, especially when it comes to sharing ourselves with other people. On the 28th, we have Jupiter, the planet of growth and expansion, blessings, and opportunities, moving into Pisces, which is a very spiritual time. Pisces energy is a sister water sign to you. This is really going to kind of heighten your psychic abilities, your intuition. It is going to have your emotions kind of all over the place. But Jupiter in Pisces is going to be illuminating your 9th house, which tells me that you're about to embark on a very interesting learning chapter where your spirituality and your higher self is concerned. This is going to be a time of deep philosophical understanding, deep spiritual wisdom. You have to do the inner healing work within yourself, and this particular energy is going to help you grow and expand outside of what it is that you've already been doing for your healing journey and actually bump you up to the next level. It can be very overwhelming. It can be a little bit extra in the stimulation in which your emotions are going to kind of respond to this energy, but it's 100% needed in order for you to start channeling a new dream, a new vision for yourself as you start rebuilding some of the systems and foundations in your life that will be around for years to come. So a couple of the messages that I'd like for you to focus on as you move throughout the month. The very first thing is getting a grip on your mental plane, getting a grip on your perspective, getting a grip on the nitty gritty on how it is that you're actually moving throughout your day. I feel like many of my Cancer and friends wake up on autopilot. They go on autopilot throughout the day, tending to the tasks and chores, showing up to take care and nurture other people, and fail to be present in their daily lives. And of course, fail to show up for themselves. This is about retweaking your mindset, recalibrating your focus where your energy and attention is needed the most. They're also showing me 2 6s. The 2 6s definitely correlate to the 6th house in which you're being asked to make a brand new start by physically showing up for yourself, physically being present, by deleting that old negative narrative, by becoming a little bit more consciously aware of how it is that your daily habits are contributing to either the success or the failure of your goals, of your dreams, and of your vision. I feel like this month is going to be very monetarily successful for you, either, blessing you with gifts of money or material possessions, or gifting you with opportunities to make new income as we move into the new year. There's a lot to celebrate. There's more opportunities. There's more abundance coming in now than there has been, especially over the last 18 months. I feel like you have to be very consciously aware with how it is that you're connecting with these opportunities, because if you don't do the work in your inner narrative, you will not feel that you are deserving to level up and to step into a new place, a new role, a new responsibility that will have you not only in a new place of authority, but actually receiving the kind of income that you deserve. Again, it all starts with the mental plane. You have to believe that you're worth it. You have to believe that you deserve it before you're going to be offered it here in the physical realm. So that is all the information that I have for you this month, Cancer. I hope it's a beautiful month for you. I hope it's a transformative month for you. I hope that you wrap up 2021 successfully and you prepare very well, very strategically for the new year to come. I'm sending you nothing but love. We'll talk to you soon. Hey, Leo. You're definitely going to get off to a good start with December because we have Neptune going direct, highlighting your 8th house. So you've been kind of in a limbo state, a state of paralysis inside of yourself, really recognizing the kind of habits, the kind of thoughts, the kind of emotions that you have to let go of for good in order to clean the slate and have the space for the new elements that you've been dreaming of to actually have a place to be built. Neptune going direct is highlighting your 8th house of death, rebirth, and transformation. You've definitely been illuminated to a lot of your own blocks that you've been creating, preventing you from truly standing in your power, aligning with true meaning and true purpose. And now that Neptune is going direct, you're going to be given permission to kind of dream again, to imagine what kind of reality you actually want to be manifesting, and to get in touch a little bit more with your intuition, with your higher self, and let the spiritual realm lead you into a new path where your soul can truly be happy, truly have new meaning, and truly have new purpose. On December 4th, we have the new moon taking place in Sag. It's a solar eclipse. Now, this is a big deal for a couple of reasons. First of all, it is a new moon. So we're being asked to create new beginnings, a new cycle, a new chapter. Because it's happening in Sag, this is a new quest of truth, a new belief system, a new learning chapter, a new alignment where new exciting adventures are ready to unfold. It's also a solar eclipse, which means that we get gifted with rewards and blessings. Our prayers get answered. We get a little bit of a consolation gift for the pain and struggle that we've gone through for the past 18 months. But we're also closing out an 18-month cycle. We have had the Sagittarius Gemini axis, life lessons thrown at us for the past 18 months. And this has really put your 5th house, your heart chakra, through the ringer. You've gone through a very deep transformative state in your heart center over the last 18 months, realizing first where it is that the walls in which you've built around your heart space, although intentionally built in order to protect you from being hurt and harmed in the ways that you have been in the past, has now totally been fully illuminated on where it is that you're actually blocking out the blessings. You're blocking out the romance, you're blocking out the playful energy, you're blocking out the love and creativity that naturally wants to flow through you. The 5th house also gets a little bit more attention when Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, moves into Sagittarius as well. This is definitely going to fire you up and make you a lot more aggressive in pursuing things that make you happy, in pursuing things that bring the happiness, the joy, the playful energy back, unlocking your creativity. We have new passions, new desires that we aggressively have to pursue. And we are going to be given the green light, go ahead to take action and make things happen after the solar eclipse on the 4th. Also on the 13th, though, we have Mercury moving into Capricorn. Mercury rules over the mental plane, how it is that we think, how it is that we're processing new information, and how it is that we're expressing ourselves. While Mercury was in Sag, you definitely felt that, fire on fire, big ideas, a little bit scatterbrained, unwilling or unable to concentrate and focus on one thing at a time. Now Mercury moving into Capricorn is going to slow us down, make us be able to focus in on the smaller details, get logical and practical and strategic on how it is that we're going to bring some of these new ideas and inspirations to life. Mercury moving into Capricorn is going to be highlighting your 6th house. Your 6th house is your daily habits. It's your daily routine. It is where you need to start making time in order to take care of your mind, body, and soul. It is where the inner narrative that has gotten a little bit negative lately, impacting your mental health, where that has to be renovated, revitalized, reanalyzed, reorganized, and restructured altogether. Mercury moving into Capricorn is going to help you to really communicate confidently and effectively what it is that you need from the people in your lives to make your days easier, to make them flow a little bit better. This is definitely going to help you also focus on the health and wellness that you've been ignoring within your physical form. This Capricorn energy is a manifestor energy. It's a creator energy. We get to build long-term routines and foundations that will support our health and wellness for years to come. On the 18th, maybe the 19th, depending on where it is that you're at in the world, we have the full moon taking place in Gemini. This is the last hurrah for the Gemini-Sagittarius axis that we have been experiencing the tough love life lessons with over the last 18 months. It's been about opening our minds, bringing new information in, allowing us to change our belief system, aligning to a higher truth. Now that particular life lesson is coming to an end, and it has been a direct effect on your 11th house. This full moon wants you to end something, wants you to release something, not only what it is that you've realized over the last 18 months, but we have to rewind to May and June of this year. The 11th house is about connections, friendships, visions, dreams, networking. It's where we have to progressively innovate, pushing ourselves outside of our comfort zones in order to grasp a new dream and vision for the future that likely makes us uncomfortable because it inspires us to be a better version of ourselves. The full moon in Gemini has had kind of an effect on us because it puts our heart and our head at odds. It gives us two very extreme ways of thinking. And the full moon in Gemini, especially illuminating your 11th house, is likely where you're going to have to let go of old ways of thinking, old thoughts, old ways of interacting, old ways of socializing with your close-knit group and community in order to set your sights on higher visions. Maybe the people that you're aligned with right now don't have a like mind type of energy. Maybe they don't see your vision. Maybe they don't see your dream. This is going to be a time for you to kind of recalibrate how it is that you're thinking, that inner narrative that you allow to loop in your head, and to make sure that you're very aware on the energy that you're allowing to infiltrate your life on a daily basis coming from the outside realm. Also on the 19th, we have Venus, the goddess of love and beauty and pleasure and worth, going retrograde in Capricorn. Now, this is going to be a re-edit, a revision, a reanalyzing of what makes us happy, what brings us joy, what brings in pleasure, where the power struggles are alive and well, not only in our heart space, within our personal relationships. This has us focused on our personal relationships and where it is that we have to emotionally detach from our current situations to logically and practically see who is good for us, who is not good for us, who needs to stay, who needs to go, and where it is that we have to roll up our sleeves and start creating, building, restructuring, reorganizing our foundations that we are building off of, creating long-term foundations that are going to be strong enough to house our new dreams, our new visions, where love and pleasure and joy and happiness are concerned. Venus going retrograde in Capricorn is going to be highlighting your 6th house. This is really a time for you to reanalyze how it is that you are moving throughout your daily life. The tasks and chores that you do, are you on autopilot? Do they bring you joy? Are you consciously aware of the inner narrative that you allow to run while you engage with the tasks and chores that need to be done on a daily basis? Are you willing to put the distractions aside in order to pour into the mind, body, and soul equation that is asking for your attention? Your physical body has had ailments trying to get your attention, and you have been doing a damn good job of ignoring them, masking the mental health issues in which you've currently been suffering with. This is going to be a huge revitalization, a huge reorg of how it is that you're thinking about your life, how it is that you're allowing these narratives control your life, and where it is that you've been a little bit too focused on holding on to the old and not focused enough on freeing up some old narratives, some old memories, some old pain and trauma to create a new foundation to build off of, inviting new love into your life. We also have Chiron going direct on the 19th as well. We've been doing a huge ego and identity death. We've been going through a huge transformation, a huge purge of who it is that we once were in order to stand in this uncomfortable time and space of who it is that we currently are in order for us to prepare for who it is that we want to be. Chiron going direct is going to unleash our inner spiritual warrior. It's going to allow us to build ourselves up in a brand new way, appear in a brand new form, really exert a brand new energy, a brand new mental state. This is all happening in tandem with one another. And on the 21st, we have the solstice activating the reset button. This is where we get to reflect, where we get to recalibrate our energies. The sun moves into Capricorn, again, highlighting your 6th house. Your 6th house is on spotlight this month, Leo, and it is time for you to kind of get down to the nitty-gritty and build a proper routine for yourself. Be disciplined in your energy, how it is that you're sharing yourself throughout your day, and most importantly, where it is that you have to shift your focus on taking care of yourself and nurturing yourself, bringing yourself back into a stable grounding point, mind, body, and soul. Lastly, on the 28th, we have Jupiter, the planet of growth and expansion, blessings and opportunities, moving into Pisces. We had a little bit of a trailer, a little bit of a preview on what this is going to mean for us way back in May and June. We had Jupiter in Pisces before retrograding back into Aquarian energy. And now Jupiter moving into Pisces is going to be illuminating your 8th house for the better part of 2022. Jupiter in the 8th house needs to illuminate for you where it is that you need to put a certain death to old thoughts, old habits, old routines, old emotions, old memories. Where it is that you need to actively take on a more disciplined spiritual approach to life. Where it is that you have to listen to your intuition. Where it is that you have to abandon your ego and listen to your heart and soul. The 8th house does need a certain death, a certain destruction to take place to clean the slate in order for new elements to be birthed. This Jupiter aspect is pushing us outside of our comfort zones. It is showing us where it is that new opportunities await us, but we have to let go of the ghosts of the past in order for them to actually appear. Some of the messages that I would like for you to focus on as you move throughout the month of December. The very first thing is that this is a time of new beginnings. This is a time of new manifestations. You have a lot of materialistic opportunities coming to you that is going to help you build a solid foundation of financial stability. There are going to be more opportunities to create an income coming to you this month and leading into 2022 than you've had for the past 18 months. You've had to do the work on yourself in order to become in alignment with who it is that you've always been, standing in your power before you're able to actually extend your hand and receive the kind of blessings in which you've been praying for. This month, justice is served. This month, the scales get rebalanced. This month, your heart and your head become friends again and get down to the nitty-gritty, very serious on what it is that you want to create for yourself for the years to come. I don't want you to get too disappointed, too depressed with your current situation. This ego death, this confusion, this discombobulation had to happen in order for you to gain a new center grounding point. Don't be sad. Don't be disappointed. Don't continue to look back on the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Accept the process. Accept the plan. You are exactly where it is that you need to be in this present moment. Who it is that you are in this present moment, preparing you for all of the astro events, the elements, the blessings, the opportunities that are ready to infiltrate your life. So don't be overly focused on this physical realm. Don't be overly focused on your bank account, on this physical experience. It's time for you to bust away from the what is in this physical realm to focus on your heart and soul in the spiritual realm. It's time for you to get back to a spiritual practice. It's time for you to get back to trusting yourself and trusting the universe. It's time for you to stand in your power, have one foot very connected to the spiritual realm while the other foot stays firmly planted in the here and now. So that's all I have for you this month, Leo. I hope it's a beautiful month. I hope that you prepare to wrap up 2021 in the most effective way. And I hope that you strategically take the time to plan out what it is that you want to see for yourself in 2022. Sending you nothing but love. We'll talk to you soon. Hey, Virgo. Right out of the gate, we have Neptune going direct on December 1st, and this is going to be highlighting your 7th house of partnerships and relationships. Neptune, while retrograde over the last 5 months, definitely made you face a lot of the emotions, a lot of the past memories when it comes to the pain and suffering in the soul contracts that you've had to suffer through. Because you've done the inner healing work, because now you see where you have allowed some of these situations to transpire, now we get to integrate those life lessons, that wisdom into our daily lives, essentially shifting the energy exchange in our personal relationships. Now, on December 4th, we have the new moon solar eclipse taking place in Sag. This is a doozy for a couple of reasons. First of all, we come into the month, we're in eclipse season, everything is confusing, we're not in control of anything, the universe has the wheel. The new moon, yes, wants us to kind of initiate a new beginning, a new chapter, a new cycle, especially listening to our intuition and really aligning with our authentic soul selves is very much on the top of the list. But this is a solar eclipse. This means that karmically we are getting gifted, we are getting rewarded for the past 18 months of tough love life lessons that we've had to suffer through. This is closing the door on that 18-month chapter as we kind of move away from the Gemini and Sagittarius axis of life lessons that we've had to deal with for the last 18 months. This has definitely put a spotlight on your 4th house. This is home and family. This is the dynamics within it. This is the new boundaries that you had to implement, create, and actually strengthen in order to protect yourself. It is 100% in your nature to want to take care of those that you love, but not at a detriment to yourself, not when it affects your own health and wellness. And this has been a very tough love life lesson for you over the last 18 months. This is definitely a chapter that you're willing to walk away from now that you've learned your lesson, and definitely a new opportunity to build brand new foundations within the home, within those family dynamics that will last you for years to come. On the 13th, we have Mars moving into Sagittarius. Mars rules over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our aggression in the world. And moving into Sag, we're definitely ready to initiate. We're ready to take action. We're ready to jump into a new learning chapter, a new adventure. And this as well is going to be highlighting your 4th house of home and family. This is definitely where it is that you've learned some generational trauma aspects, where it is that you had to be illuminated, to where it is that you have to be more aggressive in setting some boundaries, really kind of making sure that people respect what it is that you're thinking, what it is that you're feeling. And Mars moving into Sag right now is very excited to take that spiritual wisdom from the soul lessons in which you've just learned and actually implement it and integrate it in your physical realm. Also on the 13th, we have Mercury, your ruler, moving into Capricorn. So Mercury has been in Sagittarius and it's been very overwhelming in the mental plane. It was kind of all over the place, a little bit scatterbrained-ish, can't really concentrate on one thought and can't see it to completion. And now with Mercury moving into Capricorn, we're going to be able to kind of put the tunnel vision on and focus on the nitty-gritty details, logically, practically, strategically coming up with a play-by-play on what it is that we want to do to move forward, to build new foundations. This is going to be illuminating your 5th house. Your 5th house is your heart chakra. It is getting your heart and head back on the same page in order for you to start manifesting and bringing to life some of the dreams and visions that you've been working so hard in actually trying to manifest. Capricorn energy is the manifestor energy. It is the creator energy and the builder energy. And because this 5th house, your heart chakra, is on focus here, you're going to definitely see the emotions, the pain, the struggle that you've had to go through over the last couple of months from a brand new light. This is going to crack your heart chakra wide open. This is going to make you release some of the old narratives, the old memories that have kept you in a state of paralysis, afraid to share the best part of yourself intimately with another individual. This is going to allow your creativity to flow in a brand new way, bringing again to life some of the new ideas and inspirations that you've been downloaded with. On the 18th, maybe the 19th, depending on where it is that you're at in the world, we have the full moon taking place in Gemini. This is going to be illuminating your 10th house. So let's talk about this for a second. First of all, the full moon wants us to end and release an energy, a cycle, a chapter, a topic, a theme. Not only are we closing the door shut on this 18-month cycle that the Gemini Sagittarius energy has brought us, but we have to rewind to May and June of this year. The full moon in Gemini is bringing to an end of the new ideas that we had back at that time that we didn't get to actually bring into our reality. Because this is the 10th house for you, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you kind of became a little bit disinterested in what it is that you were doing for work, and really kind of added to the confusion. You were kind of, a little bit split between your heart and your head on what it is that you wanted to do. Losing the spark, losing the interest is not something that you are comfortable with, but yet not really willing to bust away from what it is that you have been doing to try something new. The full moon in Gemini is going to bring your thoughts, your ideas, your heart chakra full circle. It's going to make you see the roles and responsibilities that you've already committed to in a brand new light. It's going to bring in a brand new perspective, brand new ideas, brand new inspiration for you to kind of infuse in your life, bringing the spark back, bringing the interest back. And I think that because of the way that you are thinking, because of the way that you are expressing yourself, and again, Gemini has the same ruler as you, Mercury, this is a brand new mindset that you're going to be adopting in order to bring a brand new role of authority, even a leadership role, into play. Also on the 19th, we have Venus, the goddess of love and beauty and pleasure and worth and money, going retrograde in Capricorn. Now, she's going to be in Capricorn until March. And going retrograde, it likely will push us to reflect back on the past, especially where our personal relationships and our self-worth is concerned. Venus wants us to connect with what makes us happy, what brings us joy, what brings us pleasure in life. But Venus being in Capricorn, we're a little bit emotionally detached because we have to kind of treat this like a business arrangement. We have to see the power struggles in our personal relationships and see where it is that technically we've been fighting ourselves on letting go from some old memories, some old people, some old relationships. Venus going retrograde in Capricorn needs us to really take a good look at the foundation in which we've built based off of our self-worth and our own value, and how we allow other people to treat us as such. This is going to be illuminating your 5th house, your heart chakra. This is really going to get you in touch with what it is that you absolutely love to do in this world, that brings you a sense of meaning, a sense of purpose, that definitely shows you where happiness and joy needs to be more incorporated in your daily life. This 5th house is going to unlock new romantic feelings, new playful energies for you to work with, new creativity, and mostly it's going to get you very raw with yourself, with your emotions. It's going to make you vulnerable, humble you, and so that you can see where it is that you've actually been blocking your blessings by creating these very tall, thick walls around your heart space. We also have Chiron going direct on the 19th as well. We've been going through an ego and identity death, and the great transformation that we've done inside of ourselves now has to be brought to this physical realm. Chiron essentially unleashes our inner spiritual warrior and gives us the energy, the tenacity, the discipline to kind of change the way that we're presenting ourselves in the world, how it is that we see ourselves, feel about ourselves, and how it is that we're showing up for ourselves instead of showing up for other people. We have on the 21st, the solstice triggering the reset in our energy. It is when the sun moves into Capricorn, and when we get down to being a little bit reflective over this past year, in order for us to see how far we've come, in order for us to stand in this present moment And in order for us to see what it is that we want to create from here. This Capricorn energy is the manifester, creator, builder of the zodiac, focused on long-term foundations that are going to be stable enough to house the kind of dreams and visions that we want to bring into reality. And the sun moving into Capricorn is going to also be highlighting this 5th house. As you can see, your heart chakra is on center stage this month. You definitely have been put through the ringer, especially in your personal relationships, seeing your own worth, seeing your own self-confidence really be mirrored back to you in the relationships that you choose to engage with. And many of us, like I said, have gone through an ego death where we've leveled up. And now we have to really put our hands, our tangible hands on our physical realms, start reorganizing and restructuring our lives to incorporate more of the good and to cut away all of the bad. Lastly, on the 28th, we have Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, abundance, and blessings, moving into Pisces. So we did get a taste of what this was going to be like back in like May to July before Jupiter retrograded back into Aquarius. Jupiter in Pisces is really going to put a huge emphasis on our spirituality, on listening to our intuition, on, encompassing more empathy and compassion for ourselves, reflecting back on our pain and suffering and recognizing why those experiences were karmically, divinely scripted for us to meet our true selves. Jupiter moving into Pisces is definitely more dreamy, more imaginative, definitely more spiritual, and we are calling new soul contracts in, and you especially, where this is highlighting your 7th house of partnerships. This is time for you to put the past behind you, to recognize that not everybody is going to hurt you and harm you in the same way that some people that you let close to you did. And this is going to be a time for you to integrate those particular life lessons and cut the cord with those particular memories to free up some space for you to grow past this current situation and let new people into your realm. Some of the messages that I would like for you to concentrate on as we move throughout the month of December, the very first one is the power struggle that's going on within you. This will likely dissipate after the solar eclipse anyways, but pay attention to where it is that you're conflicted, on where it is that your new interests, your new passions, your new desires are asking you to abandon the old roles and the old responsibilities that you've committed to take a new path, to be excited about life again, to jump into a new adventure and a new learning chapter. Yes, I know it's hard to do in your mental plane. I get it. You have a lot of re-editing to do as far as the inner narrative goes. They're showing me the number 8 and the number 5. 8 is death, rebirth, regeneration, renewal, transformation, and 5 is that heart chakra. You're going through a huge renovation in your heart space, in recognizing where it is that you've been too focused on trying to make other people happy and not focused enough on bringing that happiness into your own life. Yes, it's going to take some time to re-edit that negative narrative that you adopt so easily, obsessing and really trying to analyze every little aspect of every little situation. Instead, abandon that intellect. Abandon that intellect for just a second and see what your heart space has to say with it. This is time for you to realign to your intuition, to your heart, to your soul, and let them lead for the moment and give your mental, intellectual part of yourself a break. They're showing me the number 1, and the number 1 is a brand new beginning that we enter into after the eclipse and when we get reset with the solstice energies moving into Capricorn season. The number 1 energy is you being able to create a brand new opportunity, a brand new path, a brand new foundation, a long-term foundation that will be around for many moons to come. You have all the tools, all the skills, all the resources available to you now to make a major shift. This is time for you to really tap into your own power, recognize how strong you are in manifesting the kind of dreams and visions that you want to bring into reality. This is time to get your mind right and your heart right so that you can see your physical realm change and transform to start mirroring back to you the kind of inner transformation in which you've already done inside of you. So that's all that I have for you this month, Virgo. I definitely hope that you have a beautiful month, a beautiful holiday season. I hope that you take the time and pay attention to the details of what you need to wrap up in 2021 before cleaning the slate and preparing for all the beautiful opportunities for growth, for stability, and for abundance that we're about to walk into in 2022. I want to thank you so much for listening to your Zodiac forecast. I send you nothing but love, and we'll talk to you soon. Hey Libra. So December 1st, we get off to a great start with Neptune going direct. This is going to be illuminating your 6th house. You've likely had a lot of confusion, a lot of restructuring, a lot of reorganizing, really affecting your day-to-day life, your tasks, your chores, your roles, your responsibilities. And now that Neptune's going direct, we get to step away from having to deal with the chaos of the present moment. We get to kind of project ourselves into the future, dream a bigger dream, capture a new vision on what it is that we want our daily lives to look at. It is so important to understand that the habits, the routines, the narratives that we have in the run of our day sets us up for the success or the failure of our dreams and visions coming to life. This is going to be a time for you to recognize where it is that you've been too consumed by the physical realm and had a huge impact on your own mind, body, and soul equation, and where it is that you've gotten away from your spiritual practice. You're being called back to your spiritual practice for you to really find the discipline to align with your higher self, your intuition, and let that lead and have that lead you on a path to balance out the mental health issues, the physical health issues with a divine plan that you've kind of turned your back on because of feeling disconnected and the confusion created in your physical realm. The 6th house wants you to get your mental narrative back together, but it also wants you to use your logical and practical brain with the intuition and visions coming through. This is a time for you to get your heart and your head in alignment and create a brand new physical reality that you can depend on moving through the tasks and chores required of you in your day-to-day life. Now, on December 4th, we have the new moon solar eclipse taking place in Sagittarius. The new moon does want us to initiate a brand new cycle, but this particular new moon in Sag is actually ending an 18-month cycle that we have been learning through the Sagittarius-Gemini axis. It is also a solar eclipse, and solar eclipses have the tendency to activate new blessings, new opportunities, new abundance coming to us, especially where a new learning chapter is concerned. Now, this new moon solar eclipse in Sag is going to be highlighting your 3rd house. Your 3rd house rules over your mental plane, the mental narrative, new perspectives, new information, and how it is that you're actually expressing yourself. Now, this Sag energy tends to be a little bit blunt. It has no filter, but it's speaking a lot of truth. And it's likely going to show you where, over the last 18 months, you've been pressurized to speak your truth and where it is that you either rose to that occasion or you ran away from that occasion. This is going to bust us into a brand new energy in our mental plane and in expressing ourselves. Now, on the 13th, we have Mars moving into Sagittarius as well. And this will also be in your 3rd house. Now, Mars rules over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desires. And now in Sag, a fire energy, we're really kind of getting excited about our new passions and desires. We have a brand new truth. We have a brand new spiritual outlook. We have a brand new perspective on the opportunities of abundance that await us. Now we just have to get our mental plane online in alignment with our heart and soul before we're actually going to see the physical changes take place in our physical realms. Mars, especially in this 3rd house, is going to make you a lot more aggressive in pursuing the new passions and desires that you've been illuminated with. It's also going to make you a lot more aggressive in actually expressing yourself and communicating with confidence and clarity on what it is that you now realize, these revelations that you've had, and communicate your new ideas and inspirations very effectively to those that need to hear it. Also on the 13th, we have Mercury moving into Capricorn. Mercury rules over our mental plane, how it is that we bring information in, process that information, and then express it outwardly. Mercury has been in Sag, and that has created a lot of thoughts, a lot of open windows in our brain. We've had very low concentration. Very much focused on the big picture of the future and kind of missing the smaller details in the here and now. Mercury moving into Capricorn is going to slow things down and get us a little bit more logical, strategic in our plans and how it is that we're going to bring new elements into our lives, especially building new foundations in our lives, long-term foundations that are going to support the new dreams and visions that we want to bring to life. Mercury moving into Capricorn is going to be highlighting your 4th house. There's been a lot of home and family dynamic drama. There's been a lot of situations where you've had your boundaries triggered and tested, where you've been asked to implement and create and strengthen those boundaries in order to protect yourself. This is a little bit of a reanalyzation on where it is that your energy and focus has been too much on other people, especially those that you love, and not enough on yourself. This is going to rewire your brain and having a better narrative to put yourself first. On the 18th, maybe the 19th, depending on where it is that you're at in the world, we're going to have the full moon in Gemini. This is the last Sag Gemini event to close the door on the last 18 months of life lessons that Sag and Gemini energy has brought us. It's been all about new information coming in, learning new things, opening our minds up to new ways, and seeing how opening our minds up have changed our spiritual beliefs, changed the beliefs within ourselves, and the beliefs on what it is that we actually think is possible for us in moving into the future. The full moon wants us to release, wants us to end, wants us to close the door on a very difficult chapter of our mind space. Our heart and our head have been at war. This is a chance for us to get on the same page. This Gemini energy has kind of had us on two different extremes in the mental plane, really kind of dividing us within ourselves and putting us in a very divisive state in our personal relationships as well. Now, the full moon in Gemini highlighting this 9th house is a huge revelation, a huge inspiration of ideas, especially when you rewind to May and June of this year when we had the new moon in Gemini. A lot of those things did not come to life. A lot of those ideas definitely died out, and a lot of new information has totally changed your plans and changed the game on where it is that you want to go from here. This 9th house wants you to get in alignment with your higher self. Gemini energy is the lower intellect. This 9th house is the higher intellect. We want to abandon our egoic intellect, which is the Gemini energy, in order to tap into our higher selves and our intuition. There's a lot of spiritual wisdom that we've had to learn over the last couple of months. There's a lot of silver linings that we have to pluck out of the not so nice things that we've had to go through. And with this, we kind of end one chapter and we're preparing to jump into a new learning chapter with new life lessons and new adventures. Also on the 19th, we have Venus, your ruler, going retrograde in Capricorn. So this will be highlighting your 4th house as well. And let me tell you, this probably isn't going to be so nice. Over the last couple of years, my Libran friends have really struggled with the home, with the family dynamics, the personal relationships in it, and where boundaries definitely needed to be created and enforced in order to protect yourselves. Now, this is likely going to have you kind of face all of that drama that has transpired, reflect back, reanalyze, revisit, re-edit some of those boundaries that aren't working so well. This also is putting a huge emphasis on us, seeing our worth, seeing our value, where it is that we have allowed people to treat us a certain way because of the confidence and the self-esteem that we've had within ourselves. This is also showing us where new happiness, new joy, new pleasure is needed to be kind of created in our lives so that we're not constantly just putting ourselves in situations because they are comfortable. Venus, who is very focused in Capricorn on detaching from our emotions and thinking very logically and practically about the situations that we've allowed to transpire, is definitely going to rework this family dynamic and create better foundations, more long-term foundations on how we want to interact with the people that we love. We also have Chiron going direct on the 19th as well. And we've been going through an ego and identity death. Chiron, the wounded healer, is trying to show us where it is that we've been too attached to our ego identity, too attached to people, too attached to material possessions and things. And now that we've had some of that be stripped away, we are essentially transforming within ourselves. Chiron going direct unleashes our spiritual warrior and gives us the energy, the warrior-like spirit that we need in order to make the kinds of moves in our physical realm that we've already contemplated in making while Chiron was retrograde. On the 21st, we have the solstice activating our energetic reset. This is when the sun moves into Capricorn season. This is when we become reflective. This is when we become a little bit more over analytical on all the things that have transpired in order for us to see what brand new foundations we need to start building in order to provide us with the safety, security, and stability that we are desiring moving into the future. This is also highlighting your fourth house. As you'll notice, your fourth house of home, family dynamics, nurturing yourself, the boundaries that you need to put in play in order to protect yourself emotionally are coming up for review. This is a very important time for you to recognize where you have to cut the cords with the old behaviors, the old habits, the old routines, the old energy exchange in order for you to be liberated, set free in this present moment to dream a bigger dream and grasp a greater vision on how you want the family unit to look in the years to come. Lastly, on December 28th, we have Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, blessings, and opportunities, moving into the very spiritual energy of Pisces. So we did get a taste of what this was going to be like back in the summer months before Jupiter retrograded back into Aquarius. And Jupiter moving into Pisces is really going to help us in our healing journey. We're going to be able to get more in touch with our intuition, more in touch with our higher selves, more in touch with the divine plan at play. Jupiter wants us to grow out of what it is we've gotten comfortable with and step into a brand new place, a brand new territory where we can see the spiritual wisdom that we've gathered through some of the hardships actually be integrated into our daily lives. Now, Jupiter moving into Pisces will be highlighting the sixth house of your daily life, the routines, the tasks, the chores, the habits that you are on autopilot with and should be more conscious about. They need to be reanalyzed, reorganized, restructured in order for you to be more supportive and present in your daily life. Your physical body is asking for attention. The mind, body, and soul aspect is out of whack. You do have to really redefine how it is that you're willing to show up for yourself before showing up for other people. This is going to be a huge growth in your mental plane, in the mental narrative, in your mental health. This is why it's so important to get back to the discipline of having a spiritual practice to rely upon when your physical realm gets a little bit crazy. So some of the messages that I would like for you to focus on as you move throughout the month of December. The very first thing that they're asking you is to get very real with what it is that you want to do from here. What do you want for yourself over the next year? You have a lot of different options available to you, a lot of different choices, but the confusion that you are currently experiencing is blocking you from actually manifesting some of the things that you actually want to experience. They're telling you to get in tune with your intuition, with your higher self. Step away from the ego, from the intellect, from the logic, from the practicality of that beautiful, brilliant mind of yours and see what your heart and soul is pulling you to pursue. They're showing me the number 7, which Libra naturally rules over. That is partnerships, that is relationships. But they're also showing me walking away from certain dynamics, certain energy exchanges that have kept you in a very low vibration, in a state of reminding yourself of all of the pain wounds in which you still have yet to heal. There is a division happening. There is a cutting of the cord, especially in the home and family dynamic, where some of these relationships have to be severed in order for you to be free and liberated to become the kind of energy and vibration that you've been working so hard on actually embodying. It is time for you to end a chapter because it is time for you to begin a new one. And a lot of this is going to require you to roll your sleeves up and to put your hands on some of these physical energies, these physical aspects and elements in your physical realm and rearrange and restructure what your current environment looks like and who it is that you actually allow to have access to you. So Libra, I hope you have a beautiful December. I hope you have a beautiful holiday. I hope you do the work necessary to tie up the loose ends of 2021 so that you're fully prepared to accept the gifts, the rewards, and the blessings that 2022 has to offer you. I'm sending you nothing but love. We'll talk to you soon. Hey Scorpio. Now that Scorpio season is over and we're into Sag season, we're definitely focused on the new routines, the new relationships, the new money matters that we're looking to build and bring to life. We get off to a beautiful start on December 1st when Neptune goes direct. Now, Neptune is the planet of dreams, of imagination, of spirituality. It's also ruling over lies and deception. We've had the last 5 months really rattle us. We had to face some very harsh truths about ourselves, about the reality in which we've created. Neptune, retrograde, and now going direct, has been illuminating your 5th house. That is your heart chakra. You've had to really go through the ringer of recognizing where it is that you've been blocking your own blessings and essentially blocking your creativity and love when other people are concerned. When we build up tall, thick walls around our heart chakra, thinking that we will be preventing ourselves from future pain, future suffering based off of past experiences, what we don't realize is that we become a prisoner of those own walls. The last 5 months has definitely brought up a lot of past issues, past pain, past insecurities, past life lessons for us to review. Now that Neptune is going direct, we get to dream again. We get to visualize again. We get to integrate all those harsh truths in which we had to face into our daily lives. This, for Scorpios, this is us recognizing where it is that we have to start chipping away at those walls, where we have to lower those walls just a tad. Many of us are craving the kind of intimacy that Scorpios want to truly connect with another individual in this lifetime, and we're blocking those blessings from those walls in which we have created. Neptune going direct is going to allow us to really kind of move these karmic chapters and soul contracts along in the right kind of ways. It's a total transformation of our heart space, and it is going to allow us to get in touch with the divine plan in which we have been actively avoiding. On December 4th, we have the new moon solar eclipse taking place in Sagittarius. So this is special for a lot of reasons. First of all, the new moon wants us to initiate a brand new cycle. It's taking place in Sagittarius, which is the quest of truth. It's a new belief system. It's a new energy of initiating a brand new life chapter, learning lesson, a brand new adventure. But this is a solar eclipse, which means that the things that have died within us, the elements that have been destroyed in our lives, we're creating the space for the new rewards, the prayers, the blessings to actually have a place to be built. The solar eclipse blesses us with something. It's an accelerated state of manifestation. But this solar eclipse in Sag is also closing out the last 18-month cycle of tough love life lessons that we have had in our 2nd house, of our own worth, of our own value, of routines and relationships and money matters that have not been serving our highest good. We are essentially stepping away from the inner turmoil, the processing that we've had to do over the last 18 months and prepare ourselves for a brand new chapter where our worth and our own set of values is going to dictate all the relationships in which we will purposefully engage with. This is a time for us to rebuild, re-strengthen, reorganize, restructure the kind of foundations in our lives that need to be stable enough to house the new dreams and visions that we're actively looking to manifest. On the 13th, we have Mars, our co-ruler, moving out of Scorpio, its place of power, and moving into Sagittarius as well. Now, this might kind of feel a little bit blah at the beginning because, of course, Mars gives us physical drive, energy, passion, desire, and him being in our sign for quite a long time, we've gotten used to kind of having that aggressiveness in order for us to pursue these new ideas and these new inspirations. Now that Mars is moving into Sag, this is focused on our second house. This is going to give us a physical boost in our energy to actually start building, start creating new routines for ourselves, new relationships that mirror back our worth and our value, new ways to make money, bringing new skills and talents to the forefront in order to create new meaning and purpose, and setting a solid plan down for the future goals in which we are now actively and aggressively excited to pursue. We, on the 13th, also have Mercury moving into Capricorn. Now, Mercury rules over the mental plane. He rules over ideas and information and how it is that we're expressing ourselves. And we haven't been having a good time with Mercury and Sag because our focus has been scattered. Yes, we've been having some great, big, grand ideas, but we haven't been able to concentrate and focus on them long enough to actually see how it is that we're going to make them happen. Mercury moving into Capricorn is going to slow our thinking down and put the tunnel vision on for us to get a plan together, for us to be logical and practical and strategic and bringing some of these new ideas to life. This is also going to put us in a very interesting situation to take a more of a leadership role, express our thoughts, share our experiences, really kind of, collaborate with the right kinds of people in order to build some long-term foundations, bringing those ideas into our physical realms that we can build on for years to come. This is going to be a total renovation of our mental plane. We are going to have some beautiful ideas, especially we're making money and increasing our material worth is concerned. And we are definitely going to hit the ground running once we enter into Capricorn season because it is the manifestor, creator, and builder of the Zodiac. On the 18th, maybe the 19th, depending on where it is that you're at in the world, we are going to be having a full moon in Gemini. Now, this is the final hurrah from the Gemini Sagittarius axis that we've been riding for the past 18 months. It's been a tough love life lesson, opening our minds up, bringing new information in, changing our belief system, really seeing where our higher selves and our intuition hold all the knowledge and truth and wisdom in which we need. And although we are closing out this 18-month cycle and preparing for a very serious new life lesson on the Taurus and Scorpio axis for the next 18 months, we also have to rewind to the spring. May and June, when we had that new moon in Gemini, we were very divided between our heart and our head. We had two very strong competing ideas. The inner conflict going on in our brain was just immense. And now we're being asked to release that cycle. Many of the ideas that we initiated back at that time did not come into fruition because new information totally changed the game. The full moon in Gemini is highlighting this 8th house that Scorpio naturally rules over. The 8th house is death, rebirth, regeneration, renewal, true transformation. And this is going to be taking place in our mental plane. The perspective, the ideas, the information that we have, it needs to be released. Scorpios are some of the most in touch with the spiritual realm signs that we have in the Zodiac. Very transformative, very analytical, very much the detectives of the Zodiac that trigger and act as a catalyst for the great transformation needed in each and every single one of us. So us Scorpios, although we just had our solar infusion from our new natal year, we still have some purging and releasing to do. And this particular full moon in Gemini is going to help us clear out the negative narratives that we've been too attached to, keeping us in a state of paralysis from truly transforming within ourselves and in our physical realms. Also, on the 19th, we have Venus going retrograde in Capricorn. Venus is the goddess of love and value and worth. She rules over relationships and money matters and our own worth and value within ourselves. Venus is going to be in Capricorn until March, so there's a tough love life lesson coming with this particular energy. With Venus going retrograde, we have to look back. We have to reflect. We will likely see memories and emotions resurface from our past romantic relationships. We might even see some people just crawl out of the woodwork, resurface in order for us to reprocess the particular life lesson in that soul contract. At the end of the day, Venus wants us to get down to the nitty-gritty of what makes us happy, what brings joy and pleasure into our lives, what it is that we value within ourselves, and who it is that we value in our lives. Venus going retrograde in Capricorn is going to be highlighting this third house, our mental plane, our mental narrative, our ideas, our communication styles. This is really going to help us not only level up in our worth and our value that we see within ourselves, not only bump up our self-confidence, but make us a little bit more open and vulnerable with how it is that we're actually communicating our wants, needs, and desires to those that need to hear it. We also have Chiron going direct. We have been going through an ego and identity death for the past, I'm going to say 5 to 6 months. We've had a lot of damage and destruction take place in our lives, stripping us away from old attachments. We are definitely revamping ourselves, renovating ourselves. The inner transformation that we've done within ourselves, with our heart, with our head, now is ready to come in a forward direction, and we're ready to make some really big changes and transformations in our physical realms. Chiron going direct unleashes our inner spiritual warrior and gives us a courageous bravery that we need in order to reinvent ourselves, reappearing with our new energy, with our new power, with our new form, and definitely having the kind of discipline needed in order to heal some of the physical circumstances in our lives to mirror the inner healing work that we've already done within ourselves. On the 21st, we have the solstice energy activating a reset. This is when the sun moves into Capricorn and when we become a little bit more introverted and reflective on all that has transpired. We have to figure out where the life lessons were meant to drive home some very specific soul lessons for us to integrate, accept, and acknowledge. We have to prepare for what it is that we want to create from here. The Capricorn energy wants us to build solid long-term foundations for us to actually house our new dreams and visions off of. The sun in Capricorn is going to be illuminating our third house. If you haven't noticed yet, our mental plane is on spotlight this month. We have a huge renovation going on in our mental plane, in our ideas, in our thoughts, in the way that we perceive our situations, and mostly encouraging us to speak up and to speak out with more authority, with more power, with more surety than we've ever had thus far. Many of the Scorpios in my life are being encouraged to take on a leadership role. Experiences of pain and suffering from the past, providing a light for those that are still struggling through the darkness. This is time for us to boss up. Lastly, on the 28th, we have Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, spirituality, and blessings moving into Pisces. So we did get a little bit of a preview on what this is going to be like back in the summer months before Jupiter actually retrograded back into Aquarian energy. Jupiter in Pisces is going to push us out of this egoic realm and into the spiritual realm altogether. We have to kind of see where our higher selves, our intuition, has more knowledge, experience, and power over us right now than our egoic intellect. Jupiter moving into Pisces is going to allow us to dream again, is going to reset us for new soul contracts, new soul experiences. It's going to really open our minds up, open our heart spaces up to dream a bigger dream and to magnetically attract all of the blessings and opportunities that have been divinely scripted for us. Jupiter in Pisces is going to be illuminating this fifth house, this heart chakra. We have Jupiter and Neptune, the most spiritual planets that we could possibly get, karmically involved planets that we have in the fifth house of our heart chakra. This is going to push outside of the comfort zones that we've gotten too comfortable in. This is going to push us to allow people to get close to us, to allow our creativity to flow, to align with our higher selves and let our heart and soul lead. So a couple of messages that I'd like for you to concentrate on as you move throughout the month of December. The very first one is standing in your power. You've had so much go on, so much trigger you and activate your healing abilities that now you have a new foundation to actually operate off of. There's a huge focus in your materialistic realm, building new routines, building new relationships, building new ways of actually seeing the financial stability that you want, need, and desire take form. There are huge opportunities to increase your income being offered to you this month and in the early months of 2022. And now it's time for you to stand in your power and take a look at the power that you actually have to create a reality, a life in which you are going to love to live. They're showing me the number 19, which is kind of strange, seeing that we have a pretty big full moon in Gemini taking place around that date, affecting the 8th house of death and transformation. And this is when I feel that most of the Scorpios out there are definitely going to feel that solar infusion that we got back on our birthdays. Of course, Scorpio season was very dark, very transformative. It was very heavy. And then we came into eclipse season where, we didn't have control of anything. And many of my Scorpio friends have struggled to feel the new energy actually take hold. I feel that by the 18th, the 19th, with that full moon in Gemini really doing a number on our 8th house, we are going to feel the new revitalized, new energetic, new spiritually aligned version of ourselves absolutely want to come out to play. And it's a perfect time for that because we're being divinely activated for new soul contracts to actually connect this month. There is an activator being reset with the solstice that are going to have many Scorpios either break away from the relationships that are holding us back and stepping closer to the relationships that have been divinely scripted for our soul's evolution. There's definitely an intimacy change. There's definitely an energy exchange that is very transformative and very jolting for us as we focus more on aligning with the right people, bringing more love into our lives, and just experiencing the true nature of a loving, healthy relationship. So that's all that I have for you this month, Scorpio. I hope it's a beautiful month for you. I hope you have a most beautiful holiday. I hope you take the time to really wrap up the loose ends of 2021 and prepare yourself for the beautiful blessings and opportunities coming in 2022. I send you nothing but love. We'll talk to you soon.